Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, please. Hear me.
Thank you the last so that we can record this one. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hi, sister. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted. Hello, good morning. I think it's morning over there in the US, right?
Yeah, it's morning.
Okay. I'm still trying to get the hang of it. We're trying to. Oh God. Hello, Chidima, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay.
Is it possible to make me a co-host?
Yes, very, very possible. Okay. Okay. Hi, Charity. So Charity is going to be our host for the session. So Charity, over to you. Hello, Charity, you're muted. Okay.
Yes, please. Good evening. Ms. Osita, we can start already. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. People are joining. More people are joining. So as they keep joining, we'll just admit them. But I think we should go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to. I hope we're doing good. Briefly, can we introduce ourselves? I'm Charity Science, and I'm your moderator for tonight. So you can just quickly turn on your microphone and then speak, then you mute again. Hello, anybody can hear me?
Yes, hi, my name is Osita, and I'm glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Sorry, Charity, I can't hear you.
I think I'll do the introductions myself with the names I can see on the profiles, so we can just get going. How about that?
Yeah, that works too.
Okay. So we have Dr. Orishe Maye Kekema. Don't mind me if I murdered the name. And of course, we have Chidima Unwokocha here.
That's our facilitator.
Oh, that's our facilitator. Great, great. We have Nkem Choduru. We have Moturayo Olowu. We have Elizabeth Nakwe. We have Hamida and Timilehi Ojo for now. More people will sign in. And of course, we're going to have a great time today. Briefly, we want to talk about Flourish, the Flourish Opportunity Network. As it implies, it connects, is an agent that connects opportunity seekers in the educational terrain with the opportunities they so seek, right? Flourish Opportunities Network is a paid platform that offers a comprehensive scholarship opportunity database and resources such as essay, templates, and access to fully funded scholarships. Mentors that can help aspiring scholars to get selected for every scholarship of their choice. So Flourish Consult is here to connect you to scholarship opportunities. So can we quickly have the opening remark from the convener, Mr. Osita, or Barrister Osita?
I don't remember that I'm a lawyer sometimes, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't remember. So hi everyone, I'm really glad that you're here. So many people are sending me messages, they're trying to get in. I really hope that they're able to find their way here. It's always best when you are in such meetings live and you can ask questions in real time. Watching a recorded video is not as fun as actually being present when it's happening live. So my name is Osita. I am the founder of Flourish Consult alongside my co-founder, Blessing. So what we've been doing is that we've been trying to connect people to opportunities for the past 3 years. We've successfully helped over 150 people get jobs and internships in Nigeria. We also help some people get part and then full scholarship, both in the UK and in South Africa. So essentially what we do at Flourish Consult is that we're trying to bridge the gap between people that are looking for opportunities and people that are actually able to access opportunities. We're currently building Africa's most comprehensive scholarship database. And the goal is that people should not spend so much time researching the internet for scholarships that they're eligible for. They should be able to find them all in one single database, so that all they need to do is just put in their details like CGPA, class of degree, and then whether they have any leadership experience. And then we go ahead and check. The platform will then bring out all the scholarships that they are eligible for in all the different countries that they're interested in. So that's essentially what we're doing at Flourish, the Flourish Consult, through our Flourish Opportunities Network, which is like the platform. I'm really excited that you're here. Today, we're going to be listening to one of our facilitators in the person of Chidima Ukocha, tell us about how to go about applying for schools in the US when you're looking to do an LLM, and how to go about trying to get some funding as well. So I'm really excited, like I said earlier, and I look forward to how the whole program unfolds. Thank you, Charity.
Thank you. Beautiful opening remark there by barrister Sita. Right. So we'll get really quick, and that's. I hope everyone can hear me. Miss Chidima, she's a scholar of the Tulane University Law School, USA. Chidima Grace Nwokocha is an LLM scholar in international and comparative law at the Tulane University Law School, USA. She studied law as an undergraduate at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, UNIZIK, popularly known. Prior to enrolling at the Tulane Law School, she worked as an associate at Aluke and Oyebode, Nigeria's first full-service law firm, where she advised clients on aviation and international commercial arbitration. She's a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK, the Association of Young Arbitrators, and the Young International Council for Commercial Arbitration, ICCA. She was called to the Nigerian bar in 2017. So today she's going to be leading us on a journey on how to embark on that our desire to study abroad, have a master's and all of that. So you're welcome, Ms. Chidima. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you, Charity.
Thank you.
Yes, so I think there is so much background noise. Can everybody mute their microphone, please? Except maybe just myself and Charity. Can every other person mute their microphones? Okay, so I want to understand if I'm speaking to just law students or there are other professions here. Charity?
I think you're speaking to scholarships seekers across board, not just law students.
Okay, it's just so that I would know how to tailor my responses, but maybe I'll start with that for law first before I go into that for other courses. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay. I think maybe Charity is having some network issues, but yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
All right. So the first step to apply to universities abroad, especially in the US, is to create an account on LSAC. LSAC is an acronym for Law School Admission Council. I'll put that in the chat box, so don't worry. So you look up the website, and then there's a space for you to create an account. Let me see if I can share my screen and maybe show you what the website looks like. Oh, I'm unable to share my screen. Okay, so, but when you type LSAC on Google, let me see if I can get the website for you so that I'll just put it in the chat box. It's pretty straightforward. So you create an account on it and then you fill in your details. Yes, so that's the site. I've posted it in the chat box and you can just click on it if you want to check it out immediately. You create your details. There's a space for you to select your schools. Then you register your recommenders. I mean, before you start the application process, it's good for you to have talked to the people who you intend to write your recommendation letters so that they are aware of what you're doing and they don't get surprised when you put their email addresses there and when they get a request for recommendation, because LSAC sends the request directly to your recommenders. So you don't have your only job there is just to register them on the site, and that will be it. The recommendation letters are sent directly from your recommenders back to LSAC. So you don't have any role to play in this. Now, after creating an account, after registering your biodata, after registering your recommenders, then you proceed to send your transcripts. So again, you don't have any parts to play in the sending of the transcript. Your own is to liaise with your schools and then request, maybe, I don't know how your schools do it. It's a different process for different schools. So you make the request at your school sends it directly to LSAC. So you don't have to, you don't get to receive it and then forward it to LSAC yourself, and you're not allowed to upload an unofficial copy. So you send your transcript and it's your duty to monitor your transcript and to monitor your progress on LSAC. The system is quite open, so there is transferability there. And then you see everything that happens. So when LSAC is in receipt of any of your documents, either your letters of recommendation or your transcript, they notify you via an email, and then you are able to track your progress. Now, this is just like the preliminary stage. When all your documents are complete and you've been notified about that, you can now proceed to apply to schools. You can apply to so many schools at the same time on LSAC. That's one of the advantages of the system, and that's even the reason why I decided to use it, because I only needed to send my transcripts once to LSAC, and with that one transcript, I could apply to as many schools as I want. So there are so many schools on the LSAC system. I think all the ABA accredited schools in the US are there. They are on the system. So you can just, and for each of the schools, they have the dates where application opens, and then they have the dates where applications are due. There are also some other schools that give up admissions on a rolling basis. So you don't have to wait until any specific time of the year. You can just apply as the system, receives application, and then you get your admission decisions maybe within 2 weeks or a month. And then so you apply one after the other, and I think there are some fees you need to pay for LSAC to compile all your documents and send to the schools directly. But then there are some schools that do not receive some documents from LSAC, so you have to be careful. You have to be careful in applying to different schools to check their individual requirements. So for some schools, they will tell you letters of recommendations must be sent directly to the school by your recommender. So that means after your recommenders have sent your letters of recommendation to LSAC, they will still have to send another one directly to that school by themselves. And then also another unique thing for the US admission system is that you have to send both your LLB transcripts and your law school transcripts. So I know there are some countries that only need your LLB transcripts, but for the US, you have to send your law school transcript too in order for you to apply. So you have to register all the schools you've attended, except you haven't gone to law school. And I don't know how they will do that anyways. If you haven't gone to law school, then you can just leave that part blank. But if you have to send your law school transcript too. So, well, that's basically it for LSAC. Then let's look at the contents of your personal statement, because at some point in the application process, you will need to send your personal statement. This is the document that you have to send yourself. That's, I think, the only part that you have to do. The rest are done by directly from the institution or the person. So this is the one that concerns you. So how the application works is this: they ask you some questions about yourself. They ask you, you see the applications are quite similar amongst the schools, and it's possible that if you've applied to one school, when you're applying to another school, your details just fills in automatically. So the system has everything about you, all your details, and then they just fill it in, and then you have to now modify to suit each of the schools you are applying to. So for your personal statement, there are some things you need to consider. First, you need to convince the admissions committee as to why you are the best candidate for that particular LLM you're applying for. So some schools offer specialized LLM, some others offer just a general LLM. So you just apply to the LLM program, and then you are at liberty to select your courses when you are admitted. For some other schools, you need to apply. They have different specializations, and depending on your areas of interest, you can decide which one you want to apply to. So this is especially if you're applying to a specialized LLM. You need to convince the admissions committee why you are the best candidate. You need to tell them the things you've done in that area before. You need to tell them the things you're currently doing. You need to tell them how your skills, how your abilities fit into that area of specialization. And usually, I know people who have never done anything in a particular LLM specialization, and they still got the admission, because they were able to convince the admissions committee that they would like to learn more about that particular area. So you don't have to worry if you're not already doing something. You don't have to worry if you don't have so many years of experience in that field. What they want to see is that passion, that desire, the fact that you are coming and you are going to give it your best shot, and that most importantly, that you will not fail, because it's also they keep tab of all of these statistics. How many students do they give admission each year? How many students are able to successfully graduate? How many students, accepted their admissions? All of these things count for accreditation purposes and all. So they don't want you to come to and do a program where they know that you are a misfit, and then you end up either not being able to complete it or not graduating well. So you have to convince them about that part. Then you have to also convince them as to why you chose that particular school. So it's not enough for you to hear that a particular school is famous, or maybe you have your friend there, someone who has gone there, or you just hear people talking about it, and then you just decide to apply. So before you even submit your personal statement, it's good for you to do a little research on the school, know what they are known for. Most importantly, if you can include that part in your personal statement, I think it goes a long way. It shows them that you're a serious candidate. It shows them that you've done your little research. It shows them that you have a good knowledge of the school, and someone who is not interested in a particular thing will not take all of these efforts to find out about that thing. So do a research, go on their website, know what they are known for, know some of the things they do. Do they have all of this moot court thing? Are you interested in those things? Do they have journals? What are some of the extracurricular activities that they do that you're interested in, that you feel that you can contribute to? And then these are all the things you put into your personal statement to convince them that, okay, I was armed with enough information with this school, and I think it's a place that suits my abilities, and a place where I would love to come to, I would love to be a part of. And then that's it for the personal statements. You can reach out to someone already in the school. Like when I was applying, I think I had friends in majority of I didn't even apply to so many schools. That's one thing with me. I'm very intentional about the things I do. So I'm very intentional about the things I do. So I didn't see the need to apply to so many schools because I knew what I wanted. So I reached out. I had friends in some of the schools I applied to. I think there was just one school that I didn't have any friend there. But I chose the school because it was in an area where I felt that, okay, I had one or two people I could talk to. So I reached out to them. I had them send me their own personal statements. I saw like some of the things they wrote. I knew how to modify mine. And then I also had them review my personal statements, and before I uploaded for each of the schools. So well, if you don't want to reach out to people, or maybe you feel you don't know anybody, you can reach out to some of these consulting agencies like Flourish Consult. I can I can recommend them. I usually do not say for other people, because I mean there have been times where people reached out to some of these agencies and the story wasn't funny. But I practically had to do everything myself, from the admissions to even applying for a visa, getting a visa, booking my flights, traveling. I did everything myself. But it's fine if you require help, and it's fine if you get confused at some point and you decide to talk to somebody about it. What's the last thing I'm supposed to talk about? Scholarships, right? Okay, so why applying? There are some schools that have scholarships attached to them. So while you are applying to the school, you are applying to the scholarship at the same time. For example, this school, Stanford University, had the Stanford Knight Hennessy Scholars Program. So as you're applying to Stanford University on LSAC, you will see the portion for the Stanford Knight Hennessy Program. And sometimes the questions are basically the same thing, but just different applications. Then I think another that had that was NYU, New York University. So if you're applying to NYU, they would ask you if you intend, sorry, my voice is cracking. If you're applying to NYU, they'll ask you if you intend to apply for some of the scholarships, like the Hausa Global. The Hausa Global is a fully funded scholarship, just like the Knight Hennessy program. But there are other awards that are not fully, that are not full, that you can also indicate your interest in. So if you get the admission and you don't get the Hausa Global Scholarship, you can get one of the other lesser ones, and then you just have to make up for the balance of what is left of your school fees after minusing the scholarship. Then for some other schools, your admission, you don't have to apply. So getting an admission is an automatic incentive for scholarship. So your admission letter comes with a scholarship offer. And this is the case with my school, Tulane University, and some other schools. So you won't see it on LSAC, you won't see it on their website that you should apply to any scholarship. But then as they are giving you an offer, they are giving you a scholarship that will probably cover more than half of your fees. And then you could still get more if you want. You could still get more. You need to know how to do some of these things. Get them to increase your scholarship or do something that would give you additional funding to add to what they've already given you. And then whatever is left, you probably have to pay it from your personal pocket. Then let me also add that it's possible for you to, for the night NSC scholars, it's possible for you to get the admission and not get the scholarship. So they will tell you that there are two different applications. Then there are some schools that offer need-based scholarships. So like, even though you are applying for the scholarship different from the LLM application itself, you would need to like demonstrate some form of financial incapacity. So you need to tell them, I don't know how you intend to convince them, but then you tell them of how you are unable to foot the bills and how you not desperately now, that sounds too extreme, how you really want to attend the school, but you are unable to fund it, and then, ask them for some form of need-based scholarship. I think Harvard does this. So after applying, you would then apply for the need-based scholarship. It's not fully funded, but it's something substantial, depending on how well you are able to convince them. So it's your ability to convince now that would do the talking for you. If you convince them that you need a lot of money, they'll give you a lot of money. If you don't convince them that you need a lot of money, they'll give you, well, whatever they feel is right and just for your particular case. What else am I missing out? Okay, so I've talked about LSAC, right? Which is the central body for law schools. I think LSAC is connected to all ABA accredited schools. So with LSAC, you don't have to worry about anything. But there's another way to apply apart from LSAC. So if you don't want to go the LSAC route, and this is especially for schools in other countries now apart from the US, because I know LSAC applies to schools in US and I think Canada. I saw some. I'm not sure if all of the schools in Canada are on LSAC, but I think I saw some of the schools there on LSAC. But for schools in the UK, you may have to apply directly on the school's website. So you just search for the school, you go to their website, you check their admissions, and then you check for some of the opportunities there, LLM, and then you apply. And then I think I saw someone asking a question whether this meeting is just for law students. I asked that question too before I started.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I believe a couple of us who are not law graduates would like to find out if all of these things you're saying, they apply to us, in terms of postgraduate applications for scholarships.
Okay, so LSAC does not apply to non-law students. The name itself even gives it away. It's a law school admissions committee thing. So it's for just law. But then for non-law students, you can apply directly on the website. I don't know of any unified body that accepts applications for non-law students or MBA students. So most of the people I know whom I've talked to applied directly on the school's website. But then the principles for writing a personal statement and then sending your transcripts and letters of recommendations are the same thing across all disciplines. So
across board, yeah.
Yes. So, of course, non-law students do not go to law school, so they just have to send their BSc transcript. And I think for schools in the UK, my friend told me that they allow you to upload an unofficial copy of your transcript. So that's where I see the difference between a UK application and a US application. Because I was really worried that do you have to, because the cost of applying for transcripts are really high. And for us that have to apply for both uni and law school is quite much. So I was asking him that do you have to send your transcript directly to all of the schools you are applying to? What if they end up not giving you the admission? That means you would have just wasted how much amount of money on each of the schools. So he said no, that they allow you to upload an unofficial copy while applying. Then when you get the admission, when you get like a conditional offer of admission, they would now request you to forward an official copy. So that's when you have to now apply to your school to send your transcripts to the school directly. And then the conditional offer can now be changed to like a substantive and concrete offer. So I think that's a fair thing to do. And that's another way of looking at some of these postgraduate applications. I don't know if anybody has any questions so far.
If you have any questions, you can please raise your hand in the comments, in the chat section, so I could call you out and then we take your questions. All right. Questions. The speaker is asking for questions. So if you have anyone, you could.
I think Hamida's hand is up. Hamida.
Okay,
hi,
so
hi, good evening.
Amida. Good evening to you, Amida. You can go ahead, please.
Okay, sorry, I just have a few questions. So the only question I have actually is during your application process, obviously you've worked with Alukane Ebode. Would you say that your work experience with Alukane Ebode greatly influenced the admissions committee in picking you? Because I obviously just finished law school and I want to go about applying for postgraduate study, but I've already done my NYSC prior to law school, so I don't even think I'm going to have like ton of experience before going forward with the application cycle. So would you say that your experience working at Alukane Bode, I don't know how long you worked there for, but would you say that years of experience or that year of experience influenced your application process? Or would you say that that doesn't really matter depending on how you couch your application? Thank you.
I would say that doesn't really matter. I know people who went straight from law school to LLM and they still got in fact, they got the admission immediately after uni. And then immediately after law school, they had to leave. So your best shot is trying to convince the admissions committee however you can. It could even be that what is influencing your desire to pursue a further studies in that particular area is not even something you currently do. I mean, I had to add a little of my work experience at A&O, but I mean, what influenced my decision to do international law wasn't even my work with A&O. It was something I had done in the university, like my final year project. That was where I even started my personal statement from. You know, that final year thesis and all of the things I had to look at. That was like one of my strongest points. Then I just had to add to fleshing it up some of the things I have done relating to that area of law in my work in A&O. But looking at my personal statement, I cannot say that part that concerns A&O is what influenced the committee. No. But they just want to see, even if I can tell you this for free. I have a friend who is doing an LLM in an area of law she has never done before. Like, it's entirely new to her. And she still got the admission because, okay, she admitted that she has not done anything in this area, but that she would love to. And this is the reason why she would love to. These are the things she has been seeing in the course of practice in respect to this practice area. And then she wants to try something new. She wants to learn more about it. And she wants to like have, a certification or like, a degree in that particular specialization. And she still got the admission, despite the fact that she has never done anything in that particular area. So I don't think it's so, it's so relevant. It's good if you have it. It's good if you have a work experience. I like to advise people to maybe work for 1 or 2 years before they go, just so that they have things to put in their personal statement in case they've not done so much in the university. But if you feel like you already have sufficient things to convince the admissions committee, then why not?
Okay, thank you. Sorry, just one last thing. Some scholarships are I'm trying to find the right word. They are area specific. So if you are going for like a master's in international human rights law, they would require you, I would guess they would require you to have a bit of work experience with human rights cases or something. Would you say that your work experience would largely influence need scholarships that in this respect? So if I want to pursue something in international human rights and I don't have experience in international human rights and I want to apply for a scholarship that is course specific, so not just like the general LLM but like specific to international human rights, and I don't have work experience, what are my chances of getting into that program? Do you have an idea or something?
Okay, let me try and answer your question. So for scholarships that are area specific, you don't need to have a work experience to still get those scholarships, but you need to have an experience. So there are two different things: a work experience and an experience. It could be an academic experience. It could be an extracurricular experience. Maybe you've done a volunteer work that is somehow related to human rights. You can put that as an experience. It's not necessarily a work experience. Like, it's not something you did in the confines of a particular organization, but it's still something you did. Do you understand? So if you see, that's why I said it's good for you to look through both the school's application process and the scholarship application process and criteria. So if you see that this particular scholarship is experience-based, like it's a must, you need to have experience in this field, then just think of something you've done in that area and put it as your experience. And I think it will count, whether it's a work experience now or just an ordinary volunteer, maybe school organization volunteer experience. I think that experience should count.
Thank you. Yes, you did. Thank you.
Is there any other person who has questions? I also need to point out, I think I forgot to say, your recommenders, they usually require 2. That's like the least. But then some schools can ask for 3. And one of them would be an academic recommender, like a former lecturer in your school or something. Then one would be a professional recommender. But the professional recommender need not come from your place of work. Like, I worked in A&O, but none of my recommenders came from A&O. I think it was later, when I just felt like, okay, let me just put somebody in A&O just for one of the schools, that I decided to reach out to my senior and told him to write me a recommendation letter. But the rest, I didn't use anybody from A&O. It's basically someone who can speak to your abilities. So if you feel like someone outside of your workplace can speak, has interacted with you in a closer manner, and the person is able to speak to what you can do, even better than someone who is currently working with you, it's okay to use that person. And I just decided to point this out because sometimes I'll get questions like, oh, does my recommender have to come from my office? Especially for people who do not want their office to know that they are applying for postgraduate degrees. We know all of these hide and seek people do with their offices. They just want to, get the admission, and then before anybody would know that, okay, this person is going for a postgraduate degree, and they don't want to have to ask anybody in their office to recommend for them. That was the case with me. I wanted to do it low key throughout the application process, and then maybe announce it when I'm leaving or when I've gotten the admission. So it's perfectly fine. If you don't want someone in your office to know, if you don't want them to recommend you, look for someone also in your field, maybe a professional mentor that is not an office person. I have lots of them outside of the office. So it was easy for me to even talk to any one of them to write my recommendation letter for me. And it was easy for the person to agree because the person knows what to say about my abilities. It's not a guesswork. It's not something that would have to they start thinking through and start considering. We've built that relationship over the years. This is also one of the reasons why I tell people to not go for postgraduate degrees immediately after school. You need to build all of these things. But again, if you've been doing internships while in school, if you've already built that network over the years of your studies, and you feel that, I have sufficient people in the profession that can recommend me, whether I've even worked or not, maybe from internships, maybe from volunteer works you did with them, then I don't see what's stopping you. Every case has to be treated on the basis of its own merit. So if your own case is an exception to the general rule, then you can as well circumvent the work experience thing and use what you have, provided it's able to convince the admissions committee. That's the most important thing. Does anyone else have any questions? And it's okay to get somehow confused. I don't see you getting confused anyways, because LSAC is pretty straightforward. So I don't see any area of confusion. I'm trying to rethink my own application process, and most times I just even come back to people and tell them, oh, I've applied. We'll have to now wait for the decision. And they are so fast because it's quite easy. But in case you run into some form of, technicality that you don't understand, it's okay for you to ask questions, for you to ask someone who is in that school or who has been to that school, who can, direct you accordingly.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chidinma. Jude is saying thanks for the information, but my question is, applying via LSAC or directly to the schools? I feel applying via LSAC is easier and cheaper, but what do you think? And then apart from law, how do we apply for scholarships?
So I think LSAC is cheaper, and I think I've
Ms.
explained.
Chidinma, do you have that?
Yes, I'm answering the questions now.
Yes,
can you hear me?
please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, I think LSAC is cheaper, and I think I've explained the reason before. The reason is that you only have to send your documents once and then use it to apply for all the schools. You can apply to as many as 20 schools or even more on LSAC. There are so many schools there. If you want to keep applying, it's fine. I only had to just select about 5 schools and applied, and I removed my hand. But as many as you want, as many as you fancy, as many as look good to you and you want to put in an application, it's perfectly fine to do that. LSAC gives you more opportunities. And then with LSAC, there are Canadian schools on LSAC. So you can decide to try your luck with both US schools and Canadian schools. Again, I didn't try any Canada school. I just focused on US, and I just focused on the 5 schools I chose, and that was it. Do you get? So with LSAC, what you need to do, I think there are some things you need to pay for. A document authentication system, so they'll have to verify your transcript. You don't have to do that yourself. So once you send your transcripts and everything, they will verify it themselves. Then you also need to pay for another thing, international something. I've forgotten all those names. But you see a CAS stuff and then an ITAS stuff. You pay for both of them. And then for each application you send, I think you pay a sum of $10. Now, for some schools, if you apply through LSAC, you don't pay the school's application fee again. Like for my school, I didn't have to pay a Tulane application fee again after paying all of those fees on LSAC. So that's why I feel LSAC is cheaper and easier too. So instead of going from one school's website to another, and sometimes navigating a school's website can be quite difficult, especially if you don't have anyone in the school to guide you. So with LSAC, you have everything concentrated in just one website. So it's a one-stop shop for schools in US and Canada. I hope that answers your question, Jude. Then for the other person who is not in law, yours is quite different because you have to do it directly with the school for admission. For scholarships, there are so many scholarship sites. Many, I know a lot that I've subscribed to. I'm even tired. You know, some of them are country specific. So you have the one for Charity. To confirm that you can still hear me. I don't know, the network is fluctuating.
We can hear you, Chidema.
Okay, good. So there are lots of scholarship sites that is not even tied to schools now. That is not tied to school-based financial aid. If you check all of those scholarship sites, you can even do a random Google search and you will see all of them. You know, they will just pop out. There are so many. Depends on your preferences. You can, like for the UK now, I know there's the Chevening scholarship that applies to all fields, like whatever specialization, you can apply for Chevening scholarship. You know, so all of these things, you can get them online. What LSAC basically does for law students is to show you school-specific scholarships. The general ones are usually just on Google, like random Google search, and then you see them.
Sorry, Chidema, I wanted to clarify what you just said. You just said that the LSAC shows you the school-specific scholarship. Is that what you just said?
School-specific scholarships, yes. If you're applying to schools on LSAC,
okay,
you would see a navigation button to that school-specific scholarship. Like if you're applying to a Stanford on LSAC now, you would see the Stanford Hennessy scholarship there on the application site.
Oh, okay. I think I see what you're saying. Thank you for that clarification. Me, I don't know all these people that are asking a question about funding. Me, I'm interested in, so okay, if you travel, what's it like? Do you get, are there opportunities for people to do work even while still studying, you know, because some people also are looking to travel because of immigration. They're not really so much interested in doing a degree or anything like that. They're just traveling because they want to leave Nigeria, right? So are there opportunities for that? And how can a person access such opportunities?
Well, it depends on what you want to. I don't know if you want a study and work kind of opportunity or you want a work after study. You know, there are different things. Study and work is like while you are schooling, you can work. You know, you may also want the type that you school uninterrupted. Like some schools don't even allow you work. Some schools in some countries. I'll come back to all of these specific things, but you can work after school. Okay, so let me explain. Now, in the US, when they are giving you a visa, an F1 visa, It's a work study visa. So while in school, you can work on campus. You are allowed to, especially if there's much money or you need extra source of funding for your personal needs now. You are allowed to work for a specified number of hours on campus while you are studying. And then after studies, if you get a place, that can file for you, you are allowed to work for a year. So they basically give you a 2-year visa. For the 1 year you're studying, you can work on campus. For the 1 year after study, you can still work with what they call an OPT. All of these things are quite technical, but you will understand it better when you come into the system. Then for some schools in the UK, they don't allow you work while you study. So I was talking to my friend and I was asking him that, is he allowed to work? He said they assume that he has so much money to take care of everything. That's why he came to the school. So the school doesn't allow you work. But then after studying, like after graduation, you have like a 2-year visa extra that you can use to work if you want to work. It's now your choice. If you don't want to, you go back. If you want to, you make use of it and then you work. You get? So it depends on what you want. And these are some of the things that would also guide you in choosing what schools you apply to and what countries you apply to. Some of these immigration policies. It's always good to talk to people, like talk to them well ahead of your application and know what you need to do. For me, I didn't even think of applying to any Canada or UK schools. I didn't want to write IELTS because I was quite broke when I was doing my application. I don't want any extra money. I don't want to spend it. So I said, okay, what particular country would help me get an admission and still not write any of this English proficiency test? Because I didn't see the need to. I mean, we schooled in English in Nigeria, so why do I have to take an English test? I can speak English. It's a native language for Nigerians.
So wait, Tulane Law School did not require you to write TOEFL?
No,
is that what you're saying?
No. I didn't write any English proficiency test for all of my applications in the US.
Wait, which other school did you apply to that didn't require TOEFL? Because I'm just hearing this for the first time.
Really?
Yes, I felt that most of the schools in
there
the
were some schools.
US.
There were some schools that required it, but what I did then was to write, an English proficiency waiver application. So you are allowed to apply for them to waive that particular requirement. So what you need to convince them is that, you had your education in English. For us, basically from primary school to law school, it was in English throughout. Do you get? So when you tell them you've always had your education in English, you probably attach some documentary evidence of things you've written in English. I think they will require a letter either from your school or from your employer in English, Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that, but yeah, good to know.
Yeah. So for schools that required that, schools like Stanford that wanted to stress me, I just wrote that proficiency waiver and they just waived it immediately.
Wait, you got admission to Stanford?
No, I didn't even get the Knight Hennessy scholarship. So if you don't get the scholarship, you just suffer yourself to go there because the fees are quite expensive.
Yeah, I agree. The fees are quite expensive. I didn't know that they could waive TOEFL. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
They could.
Oh, okay. So wait, which of the schools apart from Tulane Law School was willing to waive TOEFL if you wrote an application waiver?
I think all of them. Like the basic thing is once you are applying and you see that English proficiency test requirement, just write a letter. Just write a letter, a convincing letter, because they usually would not want to just waive it. But I mean, my friend told me that they usually like to wait for Nigerians because they already know that, okay, Nigeria is a British colony and they speak English. But for others, they may not just want to waive it. So you have to convince them.
I didn't think about it like that at all. Okay, that's interesting. So you wrote like a letter to their email and they waived it. That's what you're saying.
I submitted the letter together with my personal statement. So on LSAC, while I was doing the application, yeah, when I get to the English proficiency test requirement part, I will just upload that letter.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't know what it is now, if they are strict now, but I don't want to believe that things have changed from what they used to be when I applied.
Okay,
But yeah.
that's very interesting. So instead of uploading the IELTS, you uploaded an application asking them to waive the English waiver.
Exactly.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, because I've written the IELTS, I wrote it last year. I think I wrote it in 2019. So if I was writing such a letter, I'll probably even attach the one I wrote before to show them that I did pass this. But the problem now is that it expires after 2 years and they now require you to pay again to write
that
it.
was even one of the things that discouraged me. You know, that IELTS thing. If it expires, you have to go and pay again and write again. Like 70K, you just keep spending nonsense money that you can keep for your flight ticket. No. My friend wanted to write it then. I told her, see, don't even waste your time. Write a waiver letter.
Okay. It means that Flourish Consult will come and meet you for the waiver letter. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, I can send you mine on WhatsApp even. I can send you mine. It's not a big deal.
That would be great. That would be great, so that people in our community can also see how to go about this type of things.
Oh yes, I think that can work.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's great. So tell us what it's like. What would you say is like the highlight of studying in the US?
Well, the US has the best schools. I think I should give it to them. If you check, best schools in the world, you will probably see US schools topping the list, followed by maybe UK schools. So the US educational system is world class. That's why I liked it, and that's why I chose the country. Because I mean, you want to go to a place where you know that you are getting value for your money, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say the fees are like in the event that a person doesn't get full funding? What's the fee like? Like even if you get part funding, I'm aware that you still have to like pay the rest.
Yeah, sure.
Since the amount is in thousands of dollars, maybe $20,000, $30,000. How does an average Nigerian?
It's not $20,000, $30,000. It's $60,000.
Oh, awesome!
Yes.
So how does an average Nigerian that is earning maybe 200,000 or even 100,000 in salary start to like think about that type of thing?
Okay, so let me break and that's one disadvantage with US schools. Let me just better tell you so that you are very well informed when you are deciding which country to go to. Now, unlike the UK and Canada, the US is more expensive. In fact, it's super expensive, So an average school in the US you would probably be paying between 40 something. 40 something is like for the schools that are not, high up there. But the high up schools, the Ivy Leagues, and then the like top schools in each state pay about 60 something. Then some schools also pay $50,000. And then out of this, let's say $60,000, the school will give you maybe about 30 something as financial aid. So you have to raise 30 something yourself. It's either you want to do a crowdfunding, you want to ask your uncles and aunties or other family members. Then you could also save up so that you can at least have something from your own pocket to also pay towards your fees. Then when you get here, you can do some jobs, your on-campus jobs, you can see how to save from them and maybe see if you can apply it to your fees too. Your options are many, even though the fees are exorbitant. But Well, I wouldn't advise you to travel for postgraduate studies without money, or without funding, or without knowing, how to fund, without having an idea even how you intend to fund your schooling. But sometimes we make plans and then things happen and your plans change. Like maybe there's an uncle or a family member who promised to sponsor you, and after you've gotten to the country, things changed. Either they say they are no longer interested in funding your studies, or things just change financially for them, and they are not able to now cope with the responsibility anymore, and you are feeling like you are already stuck in that country. You just have to think up a way out, and then so you need to explore other funding opportunities. Maybe look for other sources of funding. Maybe see if you can take a loan, maybe see if you can ask friends and then you pay back later. But all of this gist is not the gist you should hear now. So that you don't start, carrying the idea of funding in your head and, discouraging yourself or putting yourself under unnecessary pressure. But somehow, you just have to think up a way.
Okay. The reason why I was asking is because from all our research in the past 2 years, ever since we decided to build Africa's most comprehensive scholarship database, we found out that the big issue is that people don't have funding. We have brilliant people, they want to go for graduate studies. They know statistics shows that people that have a master's degree earn almost 60 to 100% higher than people that don't have a master's degree in Nigeria in different levels. So people want to do a graduate studies and they obviously don't want to do it in Nigeria. But the biggest issue is funding. So many people don't care whether it's Harvard, whether it's Florida, whether it's Arizona. They really don't care, because there's no school in the US that is not better than all the schools in Nigeria. That's just the truth. Fine. So people don't care what school it is. They just want to get a graduate degree, right? But then the issue is the funding. Our currency difference is so wide apart. You just mentioned $30,000. In the US, that's probably not a lot of money to some people there. But $30,000 in Naira context is 15 million Naira. How many families have assets together that are 15 million Naira? I don't know. But I mean, the CBN said that people in Nigeria, only 95% don't have up to 500,000 in their accounts together. So how then are these people going to get 15 million to pay for a graduate studies in the US? So that's like the issue. You said explore other funding options. Are there like other scholarships that people can apply for when they come to the US?
Yes.
Maybe they can. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I said some of these things are not things I can tell you now, because you can't even access it now. You have to be here before you can access it. So there are some sites like, let me put them in the chat box.
Okay.
There are some sites like bold.org. This one I've recommended a lot of my friends on this site, because that's like one of the biggest. Bold.org. There's also Scholarship All. There is Scholarship Point. There is I think Nitro Scholarship or Nitro Funding. Which other one? But I mean, if you start with one of them, it would refer you to all the others, so you don't have to worry about knowing all of them now. If you go to Bold, if you go to that Scholarship All, you will see a lot. If you go to Scholarship Point, you will see a lot of other scholarships there that you can apply to. But then the issue is not with applying, it's with actually getting the funding. So you can apply to 30-something scholarships and you will still not get it.
Okay, so speaking of getting the funding, what do you think makes a difference? I'm sure that maybe you're there, you've probably have some colleagues that have gotten some scholarships from Bold and Scholarship All and all that. What did they say was the defining factor? Because some of these people here are still undergraduates, so that maybe they can start to see why it's important to have a 2-1 or a first class. Maybe some of them are still chilling. Maybe if you tell them now, they will know that it will be hard if they don't have some of those characteristics.
Well, it's basically a convincing essay. It's the essay that is the selling point. So usually when they announce any winner, especially on board, they would publish the winning essay for those scholarships that require essays. So you see it's like the most convincing essay. That's the one they choose for bold.org. Then for the ones that don't require essay, it's your profile. So I mean, what have you done? What are the things contained in your profile? Because when you sign up to any of these scholarship sites, you will need to create a profile, like talk about the things you've done, your schools, and all of those things. So if your profile is like top notch, then the chances of you getting a scholarship is high.
Okay, if by profile being top notch, you mean maybe the person has a first class, probably had leadership experience. Is that what you mean?
Not exactly degree. So they'll look at
Okay.
your other extracurricular activity, for those who have NGOs, for those who have built something, some of the things you've done outside academics too. I don't think GP it's important. Let me not even lie. It's important. But then there are some other things that if you have together with that good GP, then it boosts your chances better.
Okay. So I think you guys have heard that now, that there are other things that you need to have beyond just the GP, just in case you are already on a first class and you're thinking that's like the only thing. So I'll hand over to you now, Charity, just in case there are still some people here that have questions. It's an interactive session, so
I think
feel free.
I saw a question on the chat whether an employer can sponsor. Yes, my friend's employer is sponsoring his LLM. He will be coming, I think, next month or so, because he has already gotten his visa. So it's possible for your employers to sponsor you. It's not ruled out at all.
So Charity, over to you, just in case there are still people that have other questions, because I know Chidema is very busy. It's not easy to be studying in the US. But thank you for doing this.
Okay.
Hi, Charity, can you hear me?
Yes. Oh. Yes, Ms. Chidima, thank you very much. So do we have more questions? Of course, some other persons joined in. Dr. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Hello, me.
Hello, Charity, we can't really hear you.
Hello.
Okay, that's better. That's better.
But you
Hello?
hello.
I can't really hear you. I can't really hear you. I can't hear you, Charity. Hello?
Hello. Okay.
Charity, I think your network is yeah, even all I saying that she can't hear clearly. Is it possible you can log out and log back in? Well, I think the network cut her off. I think the network cut her off. That's low, very low coverage. But I think we should go right ahead. Once she joins back in, she can continue. So, hi, Chidima, are you still with us?
Yes.
Hello.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I think Charity had some network issues, but once she resolves that, she will get right back with us. So I was going to ask, so if a person has gotten the admission, let's assume that the person has gotten the admission, and what are some of the things the person can do to prepare? Because I think this is like an area that people don't really talk about. What can you carry? Can you carry a goosey and all that? Like,
Yeah, now definitely. In fact, it's a must. If you don't carry those things, hunger will wire you. Hunger will deal with you. For the first 4 months of my stay here, I was eating the food stuff I brought from Nigeria.
Are you serious?
Yes, for the first 4 months.
So like you carry 2 bars of yam.
No, I didn't carry yam. But I carried gari, I carried the goosey, cooking things, crayfish, pepper, all of these things that you can, pack in your box.
All right. So
But
the customs guys.
They usually do not allow liquid stuff though. So if you carry oil, they'll seize it at the airport.
Is there
I
is
told
there
you that
is there a
story now.
scientific reason for that, or is it like the custom guys just want to collect the oil?
Well, it's just so that it doesn't burst on air and maybe stain the luggages of other passengers. Oil, especially red oil, is quite
How about perfume?
perfume too. If you must carry perfume, you have to check it in. Like you put it in your box and check it in. It's not something you carry as a hands-on luggage. Because if you are passing any border control, they will detect it and they'll seize it. They seized my perfume. They seized even my water. Because I had a lot of stopovers. So at each airport that we had to stop, if I have to pass border control and I'm carrying anything liquid or anything that they don't think I should carry. And I had the water because I was on drugs. So I was taking my drugs
I
on
don't
flight.
really get it. So what is their issue with the water? I've never really understood that. That's why I'm asking.
So that
Like, what's their problem?
It doesn't soak other passengers' things. It doesn't spill on other passengers' things. So they prefer you carry only solid things that cannot cause any harm.
But the water is served on the plane. So
Yes,
what's
so
the difference?
when it's served on the plane, you are on your seat, you drink it there. It doesn't have any effect on any other person.
No, but I'm
if
looking at the logic. If the logic is that the water in a container will burst when the plane is on flight, the people that are still serving the water are still bringing it out of a container. So what's the logic of saying that someone shouldn't? Anyway, don't worry, it's their wahala.
they have where they keep those things at the back of the plane now, so it's not with the passengers. So it's when they want to serve it that they bring it out from there.
I mean, they could also say that whoever has water should keep it in that particular place. I'm just saying that it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to me, really. It doesn't. So those are some of the things you have to look out for. You don't carry oil, don't carry water. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Then your perfume has to be checked inside your box. And then, you would have to pack it in such a way that, it's covered by clothes so that it's not going to be detected. So the issue is with the detection. If the machine doesn't detect it, once it detects it, they will search your bag. They will search everything and they will find it and they will collect it.
So what if you're the type of person that your bag is not very arranged? So
Ah.
they now come and start opening your bag.
Do you know how many airports I had to scatter my bags and start arranging? Like in the airport, it's embarrassing.
Oh my God.
It's embarrassing.
Okay. Is it true that they used to strip people to check for drugs, people that are hiding cocaine and
They
all
don't
that?
strip you anything. Why would they
Okay, they
strip
don't do
you?
that again. But I
No,
heard there was a time.
they won't
I heard there
strip
was a
you,
time
but
they
they will
used to do that.
search you. They will search you, but they won't strip you. I mean, there are machines at the airport that you pass through, and then the machine will scan your body. Then in some other countries' airports, there's something like a box. You stand inside the box, you raise your hand up, the box will scan your body. So if you are hiding drugs, it will detect it like that. They don't have to start stripping you or even touching you. It's not necessary.
Okay. So someone just asked a question on the chat about what aspect of what for the visa application was required for the application to be successful. Because this US visa, a lot of people get rejected.
Yeah. I think it has the highest rejection rate.
It does.
US visa is a total competition on its own. I'm saying this because even me, I've been rejected before. So
Okay.
yeah, I've been rejected before. And then I didn't even intend to like run away or something. I just wanted to, spend a vacation in the US, like a week, and then go back. But I didn't convince them enough, so they didn't give me.
Okay. So, but even some people that got admission to study, they still reject them. So,
Yes.
what do you?
The trick is in convincing them as to why they should give you. You need to know a lot about the city where your school is. The kind of research I did about New Orleans. I did so many research, like dug deep. I was giving them facts. You need to convince. You need to tell them why you chose that school, that state. What are some of the attractions in that city? Then they'll ask you a lot about other things, some personal stuff. They'll ask you about your sponsor. They would want to see your sponsor's statement of account to be sure that he or she has the money, just so that you don't come here and get stuck. But like I said, it's possible that the person has the money at that time and then things will change. We don't, especially during that pandemic period, a lot of things happen to people. So I mean, it's understandable if things change. But at the time when you're applying for the visa, you must have the money.
Okay.
Then,
But can you say that you've seen anybody that got a fully funded scholarship that was rejected in the visa, in the US embassy? Have you ever seen it before?
no, I haven't. I mean, when they tell you that they got a fully funded scholarship, it's when they are already there now. People don't usually announce that. People don't usually announce that they are going for postgraduate studies until they've traveled. So you probably never know. But getting a visa or not getting a visa is not dependent on. It's not dependent on your scholarship or not. It's just your ability to convince them. That's it.
Okay. I think I need to contribute a little on what you said just now. Like, for example, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. For instance, there are times that someone could be given a fully funded scholarship, but you still have to convince them that after your program, you will have to come back, because it is one thing to get a fully funded scholarship, and it's another thing, for you to go there and may or may not come back. So apart from the financial state, your financial status or sponsor status and stuff like that, you must also convince them that whenever you are going, you have to return to your home country. And when you return to your home country, what are you going to contribute based on what you have learned in the country you studied in? You understand? But if you are not able to convince them on that grounds, then I think it is also a ground for them to reject the visa application.
Yes, so
even in spite of the fully funded scholarship.
exactly. So the person that had to interview after me, I was the first to be interviewed on the day I did my interview. The guy that interviewed after me, he had sponsorship from his state government, and it was even tougher for him because it was looking like, okay, now that your state government is sponsoring you, and you don't have any worries, you probably go there and go and relax, and you won't come back. So he was trying to convince them as to the things he had done before with the state government to warrant the scholarship in the first place. And the fact that his agreement with the state government was that when he finishes, he would come back and use whatever it is he's going to learn for the betterment of his state. That was when, the interview officer told him that, okay, they'll grant him the visa. He was even scared because after the whole thing, when both of us were leaving, we were talking about the entire process, and he was like, that at some point he felt like they would deny him the visa. The way the man was asking the question, like, oh, why should it be you out of how many students in the states that your state government decide to sponsor? All of these kind of things.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get. So, but I mean, I'm thinking about it because I know that I think do you think it's easier for a woman to prove that she will come back than for a man?
No.
Yeah,
It's
because
even
I'm
more
thinking that
difficult for a woman.
maybe a woman that has a fiance in Nigeria can say, oh, I have somebody that I'm betrothed to, I'm going to get married to. But a young guy at my age can't be saying I have fiance. They know that's bullshit now. You can always go and say you're not doing again, right?
Now let me
So I
tell you
don't know.
something. During my first interview, right, I went to my mom because we were supposed to travel together. That was that time that I had to, do an alternative plan and then travel to Dubai. So I went to my mom, and then the interviewing officer was, asking us the normal questions. And then he said if it were to be only my mom, he would have given her the visa. But than me, that what is the possibility that when I travel, like come here, that I would not run away, or it's not like, a vehicle for me to be transported to like India or Italy for, prostitution. I was like, Jesus, what kind of thing is this? So like that's the thing that runs in their head whenever a young girl comes to say she wants a visa. They're like, this one, so that she wants to enter our country, and from there she will just, be trafficked or be, go to another country for something illegal or something. So it's harder for ladies.
And secondly, something that might be more convincing to the interviewers is when you have your return tickets. If you have already booked your flight and the flight tickets specify the particular day you'll be traveling and the specific day you'll be returning, that in itself would convince them. And if you have paid already, because sometimes they do booking on hold and sometimes you do actual payments. So if you have already paid and you show them that you have your return ticket, I think that might be a ground for them to give you the visa.
But
That's
can people
if you are
not
going for
cancel?
a transfer, if you are going
Can't you
for
cancel it?
it all depends. If you are the one that cancelled it, they will not give you full refund, except it is the airline itself that cancelled the flight. But if you are the one canceling on your own volition, they will give you like I think 75% of your refunds.
Okay, I see your point.
Well,
Yes, but
I don't think that flight thing applies to the US, because on their visa website they will tell you not to make any travel plans.
except that because
That disclaimer is there clearly. They would even ask you in filling the
except
application. They will ask you, have you made any travel plans? If you've made,
except that because like countries like United Arab Emirates now, if you want to travel or you want to make any travel plans, you are applying for visa, you must book a flight with Emirates before they can even consider giving you visa.
that applies to the UAE, but it doesn't apply to
Yeah.
the US. If you make any travel arrangements, US will deny you visa. Straight.
Wow, that's a serious one.
They make that disclaimer. So don't even tell them that you've made, even if they will just deny you immediately.
But what if it is a tourist visa?
Even
If
a
it's a
tourist
tourist,
visa,
Say
you
no
have to wait.
until you give
You
it the
have to
visa.
wait until you are sure they've given you the visa before you make any travel arrangement. They will state it in their website. They are very strict to that.
wow.
Yeah.
Because most times, I always feel most times, when they give you the visa, there's this urgency, there's this anxiety, or what? How would I, as in basic person blood to the heart, you want to travel because they've given you the visa, and in the process, your flight tickets might be very expensive. As in, although depending on the time frame in which you want to travel, as if the time you are making the arrangements from the time you are traveling, it's always very expensive, except you book like 2-3 months ahead. At times, there are times you book like 6 months ahead when you are pretty sure that you are traveling. You are going to travel on that particular day and return on a particular day too. So
Well, what they usually advise you is to apply for the visa well ahead. Like if you know you'll be traveling next year, you start
yes,
applying. Yeah. In fact, now it will be a little bit too late, for someone who's traveling next year. Do you understand? So they would advise you to apply well ahead, so that, because to even get a date at the embassy or at the consulate is usually a lot of work. For US now, it's usually very difficult to get a date, for the visa interview. So if you apply well ahead and they give you the visa well ahead, you have enough time to book your ticket and plan. It's unlike maybe somewhere like the UAE. The UAE, you would have to have booked your flight, have even booked your hotel and everything. You have everything down before you apply
yes,
for a visa, so that once they give you the visa, you travel immediately, because the visa is usually for a short term, especially a
yes.
visiting visa. A
I think the
US
highest.
visiting visa is like, yeah.
Okay, I think UAE, the highest they can give you is 6 months or 3 months or so.
Yeah, 6 months, 3 months. Yeah.
It depends. It depends on that's 90 days, 180 days, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they need you to have made that arrangement before. But it's not the same thing with the US. The US gives you as much as a year, so you have time to travel.
Okay. Okay. No, like for student visa, like how many is it just 1 year or 2 years?
2 years. 2 years. Whatever program you are coming to do, it's 2 years.
Okay, so if you are doing a 2-year program, it's still that same 2 years they will give you.
Still that same 2 years, yes.
Okay. Okay. So meaning those that are doing 1 year, they are at a great advantage then.
Well, yes. But I mean,
Because
the other year is not for dash now. You use it for something.
of course, you use it to work. You use it to work and garner more experience. And sometimes, some people could be very smart. They know how to play their cards well. When they stand out in their places of work, their employers will want to make them stay put, and they renew their work visa every year. And before you know it, they ask them to apply for permanent residency. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it's all about playing your cards well and being very smart. Know what you want, go for it, meet the right people, and who knows, you could remain there. Who no like
Okay,
better? Who no like better thing?
I don't know about running away from Nigeria. I think the money is here, but that's my opinion, Sha. Chidima, so what happens if you're rejected the visa? Do you get, so how many months do you have before you can apply again?
Well, two things. You can either appeal the rejection, or to appeal the rejection, you have to engage the services of an immigration lawyer. Me, I can't speak to that one. No. So you can either appeal the rejection or you apply again. So if you want to apply again, you probably wait for like 2 months.
Okay.
And then apply again, because in the visa application, they will ask you if you've been denied the visa within the past 2 months or something. It's there on the visa application, so you have to wait for that period to pass so that you can say no.
But if you have been rejected? If you have been rejected before, would it pose a problem for you?
I think
No,
it's like an assumption that if they rejected you before, does it not mean there is something wrong with you?
it's
Do you
not
get?
true. I was rejected before. I was rejected the year before I came here, and I even told them at the interview, because they have those information in their system now. If you lie, they'll catch you.
They
It's
will
there.
catch you, right?
If you lie, they'll catch you. It's just better to tell them the truth. Do you understand? So it doesn't pose any challenge at all. They could have denied you before because you couldn't convince them, and now they would grant you the visa because you now sound convincing.
Okay. But
Chidinma.
there are occasions where you're able to convince the interviewers that you would come back after the completion of your studies and after the expiration of your visa, and you have sponsorship, and they still reject you. So what could possibly be the reason? Because I have seen one like that, and only God knows what happened. I don't know if it's a spiritual stuff or there's something he just didn't do or something, but he was able to convince them that he's coming back. And even when they gave him the rejection letter, it was not clearly stated why he was rejected. Everyone was confused. It was really painful that day, but I really want to know if you are able to convince the interviewers, as in that you are going to come back and there is sufficient money in your account, which you tendered as evidence to them, and they still reject you. What possibly could go wrong?
Well,
I think she has mentioned it before now. You just have to really convince them. Sometimes it's not straightforward. Some people might sound more convincing than other people.
and the truth is that what is actually convincing is a subjective thing on the part of the interviewing officer.
Exactly.
So in your mind, you said all you need to say, but in the person's mind, the person's mind is still telling the person to still deny you.
Exactly.
These things
That
are
one
quite
is spiritual
funny.
something. No?
These
Is
things
it a
are quite
spiritual thing?
funny.
It's just the
Actually,
normal human thing.
you will look so confused and you will be asking yourself what you did wrong. But then it's
Normal
not
human
in your place to say, it's in the person's place. So better just
Mhm.
wait, judge ahead of time.
Yeah,
So that
and again, I think that a person's appearance also matters. There are people that look very corporate and responsible. They'll be like, okay, this one looks like someone that wants to go and study. But there's a way you would appear with bling blings and all that, and they'll be like, are you sure this one is not looking to go there push drugs? So I think these things all add to
Exactly.
all these
Flourish, you
things
have a
add to
very
the subjective.
Yeah, you have a very strong point there. You have a very strong point there because your dressing most times could, convey a message to them that actually, okay, this person wants to go and study, or this person wants to go and peddle drug, or this person wants to go and do wrong way in the US or something. So that could determine. Okay.
And the funny thing is that even if you're on a suit, a rogue is always a rogue. Like if you give a tout suit to wear, he will still be a tout. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you can't change from being a tout simply because you're now wearing suit. So they can see that. That's also one of the things they can
So
see
let me
that.
point this out at this point. I usually advise people not to try to over convince them. Like, let it not be obvious from your appearance that you are trying to convince them. They can actually detect these things. Those people, I don't know what they use. But if they look at you and it looks like this person is putting up an appearance to convince them, they will deny you that visa. Yes. So when I was to go for the 2 times I was to go for my interview, the 2 times I was in court. So I was told not to wear my wig and gown. I was told not to even wear the bib because I wanted to wear the bib on my black dress and then go. Then maybe when I'm done, I can now change to my wig. They said don't even put up that appearance of a lawyer at all. You should only tell them you're a lawyer when they ask you what you do in Nigeria. Because when you appear there, go in your lawyer gown, it looks like, okay, this person is trying to prove a point or something. And it will just get them very angry. It will infuriate them. Then another thing is when they give you the visa, don't act like you are happy. Don't start rejoicing or jumping up. They
can reject it on the spot.
immediately. Yes,
Those
they
guys
can
are
revoke it
funny.
there and then
Those
immediately.
guys are very
They'll
funny.
just call you back and revoke it.
Oh my God,
It's as easy as that.
But on what grounds? Why are they revoking it? Because you are sounding very happy or what?
Yes,
because
now.
they can.
I mean, but for
Because
Christ's
they,
sake, you have the right to be happy that they've granted you a visa. Now,
No,
isn't
no,
it
no,
easy to get it?
you don't understand what Chidinma is saying. Like, they're trying to fish out those that want to run away from their country, right? So if they're not granting visa, you're not jumping up. It means that you feel that you succeeded in fooling them or something now. That's how it
Oh,
works.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so they
Okay.
can go ahead and reject the visa now,
But for
just in
someone
case
that,
they were wrong.
but what about for someone who has never traveled out of the country before, as in who has a virgin passport? Would that still be a ground for them to reject his visa application?
that can be a ground, but I know someone who hasn't traveled before and got it recently. I'll probably have to ask him what he said to convince them, because usually the trick is before applying for a US visa for whatever reason, you probably
Go
try
to
to
Ghana or
go to
something.
another country, no matter even if it's Benin Republic that is close to Lagos. There, just go there and come back. Do you understand? But
Okay.
my friend hadn't traveled before. I did the visa prep with him. I told him, I put him through the interview process, and he got it.
Okay, now what possibly could be the interview questions apart from who is sponsoring you? What are you going to do in the US and stuff like that?
Yeah, your school, why you chose the school,
Okay.
what's particular about the city, what do you hope to do after your studies, like how are you planning to apply the knowledge you've gotten from school to the things you do, and all of that.
Okay. Okay, like what's the time frame? Like how many minutes does it take for them to interview you?
5 to 10 minutes is quite short. Very
Okay.
short, in fact. Within how many minutes they've made up their mind whether they want to give you or not.
Or
So
not. Okay.
Wow.
That's exciting. All right. Thank you so much, Chidinma, for being here with us. If you're still here watching, you guys from all over Nigeria, this event is powered by Flourish Consult. Chidinma has been so gracious to give us some of her time to explain the process. I think she has said very, very useful things, like how the visa is like gold mine, USA visa. So, and we've learned a whole lot, and we're really grateful for the opportunity. So just in case you guys are wondering what the Flourish Opportunities Network is about, it's a platform that tries to connect people to these scholarship opportunities. Part of the free programs we're doing is this webinar now, where we invite people like Chidinma that have already traveled, and a whole lot of people to like come and talk to you about what their own experience is like and how you can go about your own application in the event that you decide to also apply to other countries for your graduate studies. We've had someone that got the Erasmus scholarship come to one of our programs to talk. We've also had 2 people that had fully funded PhDs in the US to come talk to us during one of our webinars. And the funny thing is that both of them had BScs. They didn't have masters. Just in case you didn't know that it is possible to get a PhD, fully funded PhD scholarship with just a BSc, it's possible. If you want to know how, I'm going to put you can join our WhatsApp group. I think we put the link on the chat. You can join our WhatsApp group where we're going to be making available all this information. And we also have like a YouTube channel where we like upload the recordings of all our webinars. So even if there are some things Chidinma has said that you can't remember, we are going to still upload it. It's even currently displaying live on YouTube. We also have viewers watching it live from YouTube. So you can always check our YouTube channel and you will see all the webinars recorded, and we divide them according to the period she was saying something so that it's easier to follow. For example, she talked about the LSAC application system in the beginning. She talked about the personal statement and recommendation letters, then going about paying for the application fees, then what to expect in the US. So we divide them according to timestamps, so that if you want to watch more about the US visa, you can go towards the end instead of watching like the entire video, which is like quite lengthy, right? So we try to give all our videos on YouTube that standard so that it's really easy for people to follow. In case you didn't subscribe through the email link, you can still join the WhatsApp group. I'm going to send the link now. So what we essentially do is that we're trying to create the most comprehensive scholarship database in Africa. What that would mean is that Assuming you feel that the US is too stressful, they can deny you visa and all that, and you're thinking of maybe Europe, all these European countries like Lithuania, Spain, and so on. So there are scholarships for that. Like I know the Radboud University in Netherlands, we have one of our colleagues from UNN that is currently there. He's going to be joining us in Scholarship Hack 5.0. We've booked it for next week, Sunday. So he's going to come and tell you how he got the OKP scholarship, which is like the Orange Corners, the Orange Knowledge Program scholarship, right? He got that scholarship. And then the Radboud University also has like a fully funded scholarship for people that are applying for their master's program. So many people don't know about all these opportunities. So that's what we do at Flourish Opportunities Network. We like have a database that contains all the scholarships in different disciplines across several countries. So people come to us and they subscribe to our platform, and then we give them access to that database and prepare scholarship reports for them, as well as also connect them to mentors, people that have already gotten the scholarships, provide essay templates. So in the event that they have to write essays and stuff, they can have templates that are already prepared in line with the requirements. And we also try to provide things like cold email templates. In the event that you're looking to go to Canada, want to apply for their master's, Canada usually requires you to already have a supervisor who is a professor, because most of their funding is for research masters. So if you're looking to go to Canada, you can join the Flourish Opportunities Network, and then we give you access to our email template so that you can send the first email to the professor, get him interested, read his materials, and then once he starts to request other documents, you can go from there. Once the professor selects you, you've already gotten the funding. It's quite straightforward, especially for a lot of all the other courses that are not necessarily law related, right? So I'm going to quickly share my screen. This is like going to be like something that breaks down the benefits of joining the Flourish Opportunities Network, so that if you're interested, you can go ahead and click on the link and join us, especially through the WhatsApp group, so that all those that join, then we can now reach out to them and figure out when they would like to start, or what they're looking to get out of the opportunity network. So just a minute, let me share my screen. So for the basic plan, this is what you have access to: personalized scholarship reports that are relevant to your area and country of interest. I've spent the last 2-3 years doing scholarship research, so I know almost all the schools in the UK. The US has like 4,000 schools, by the way, just in case you don't know. So there are lots and lots of schools in the US. And oftentimes you're thinking about, oh, Harvard, Stanford, these ones are popular schools, right? You probably never even heard of Tulane Law School before today. This is probably your first time of hearing about Tulane Law School. Is because a lot of people don't know about a lot of the schools, and because they don't know about a lot of the other schools, they end up trying to apply for Stanford and Harvard, and maybe you get admission and you now get funding, and you will still not be able to travel. And funding is very critical for postgraduate studies. So there's free consultation for your school application, since we've been doing this for a long time. Then we have personalized accountability reminders. A lot of people want to do things like getting their transcript and ensuring that maybe they've written their TOEFL in the event that they have to write TOEFL, right? And they end up not doing it because maybe they're very busy with work and life and family. So if you join our network, what we're going to do is that we'll put our team on you. They will call you on Monday in the beginning of the week, so that if you've not done what you're supposed to do, you can do it during the week. And they will still call you on Friday, so that if you weren't able to do it during the week, you can do it over the weekend. That's like the value proposition for the basic plan. And then for the premium plan, which is our favorite, that's what most of our clients opt for anyway. It contains the things that we talked about in the basic plan, but also contains the access to the essays and code email template, then preparation resources for GRE for those that want to do MBA, TOEFL, IELTS, then access to fully funded scholars as mentors. We have people that have gotten the Commonwealth Scholarship, we shared scholarship, the other one, the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. We also have people that have gotten the Erasmus Scholarship, people that have gotten fully funded PhDs, fully funded Masters in the US, in the UK. We also have people that have gotten even the MasterCard scholarship that are all on our network as mentors. If you join the network, these are the type of people that you'll be interfacing with. When you're done writing your essay, they're going to review your essay so that they will make sure that you're actually communicating what the admissions or scholarship committee is looking for. So this like essentially the value proposition that we bring at the Flourish Opportunities Network. We're actively building the platform that is going to automate all these processes. Right now we're in beta, but we have a very robust team that does a lot of interesting things. So we hold your hands and ensure that at the end of the day, when you're traveling, we'll get your testimonial. We're very excited that you're able to meet your graduate studies ambition. So this aspect of it, which is like this free scholarship webinars, is part of the things we do to like create awareness about all these graduate studies opportunities that people can take advantage of, and also like bring awareness to things people need to know when they're looking out for schools, how to go about the applications, and really, really just offer help, because that's what we're here to do, to help you, right? So I'm going to send the link to the WhatsApp group again, just in case some people here didn't see it the first time. And we look forward to your joining us in the group where we do a whole lot of exciting stuff. We currently actually have like 7 people that were part of our NHEF training last year that got selected for the NHEF Scholars Program. This is the most prestigious scholars program in Nigeria for undergraduate. We're really, really excited about that. It meant that what we're doing works, because we brought people that got the NHEF scholarship to talk to them and explain how to go about the application, and a whole lot of them were able to get it. I also got the NHEF scholarship while I was an undergraduate, by the way, just in case you're wondering. So I don't know if you guys do have any questions, would like to take them. Just a minute, I'm trying to send the, okay, I've sent the link to the group. If you guys do have any questions, would like to take them. If not, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next scholarship hack on Saturday. Does anybody have any questions before we let Chidima go real quick, because I'm sure she has a lot of things to do. Today's Sunday. Anyone? Okay, I will take it that nobody has any further questions. Chidima, thank you so much for doing this again. I'm really, really grateful. It really means a lot to all of us here to have learned so much about the application process.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're so grateful. Thank you so much. You know, we will not forget the letter. I'll ask her.
Sure. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
No
I won't
problem.
forget either.
We'll not forget the letter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chidima.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys.
Please, you could upload the letter via on WhatsApp, please. I'm already on the group now.
Okay, you've joined the group. That's great. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Please, the letter must not be shared though. It's for your personal consumption, please.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
like my
know
stuff
that.
flying all over social media.
Okay, no problem. There's no problem.
Thank you very
Of course
much. We are
not.
most grateful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Emma. All right, guys, I'm ending the meeting. Have a great day. Bye.